Welcome to Wrong Time Watch. My name is Kevin, and today we're looking at the Zodiac Super Seawolf Skin Diver and the Sinn U50-T SDR. Probably not going to see this comparison anywhere else, not your usual comparison video, but we have a nice vintage inspired diver and then this kind of a tactical looking dive watch. So let's get into the video, but first I'd like to thank Saltzman Watches for sending this watch over on loan. If you could check out their website and Instagram account, I would appreciate it. Also, I do have a 20% off discount code for anything they sell online. I don't get a kickback or anything like that, just a bonus for you guys to use. And that code is WTWT23. I'll put that down in the video description below. So MSRP for this watch is $1,595. And of course you can get it for 80% less than that, or 20% off, however you want to think about it, using that code. So we have a domed sapphire crystal, aluminum bezel insert. The watch is rated to 200 meters water resistance. We have a signed screw down crown. And we do have applied indices here, applied logo, and then a Zodiac, and the rest of the text is of course printed. And down there at the bottom you can see it is Swiss made. A Swiss made watch with a Swiss movement. And this does have a green dial. Hopefully you can see that. And no date is present on the dial either, which I do like. I prefer no date watches. So the Sinn U50, I bought this used over 2 years ago. This actually has the older movement. Well, the new movement has been upgraded, so I'll just say that. This one's not been upgraded yet. And the difference is 42 hours of power reserve versus 56. But anyway, $3,340 is the current price for this, MSRP. We have a flat sapphire crystal in an amazing dial or anti-reflective coating on here, I should say. At some angles it looks like there's not even a dial or a crystal, not even a crystal on the watch. This may be a little bit of an off-putting watch, but I like the styling of it. It's different from all the other watches in my collection, so I think it'll be staying around for a while. And the bezel is made of submarine steel, and then it has a tegimented coating, which means a hardened coating, very scratch resistant. And this watch is rated to 500 meter water resistance, which it should say. Yep, it says right there on the dial. 500 meter, which is amazing for the size of the watch, amazing for the thickness of the watch, really. But anyway, everything on here is printed. And you can see the paint on the hands. I think it's a very cool looking watch. I need to wear this one more often. Alright, let's zoom back out here. I'm going to look at them side by side. This way, this is more of a visually appealing watch. Not that this one is ugly, really. It's just maybe an acquired taste. Okay, so we have a STP-1-11 automatic movement, 44 hours power reserve, rated to plus or minus 20 seconds. And the STP-111 is based on the ETA 2824 movement. And Fossil owns Zodiac, and Fossil also owns STP, so I would consider this to be an in-house movement. Onto the Sinn. It has a Solita SW300-1 movement, which is based on the ETA, I think it's the 2932, something like that. But it's interesting that Solita is based on an ETA movement, and then the STP-1-11 also based on an ETA movement. So the current version of this has 56 hours of power reserve. Mine has 42. 8 beats per second. The accuracy, I wasn't really able to find that out, but it should be somewhere around plus or minus 20, or actually should be better than that, but that's the lower end movement. Okay, back to the Zodiac. We have quick release end links, solid end links, solid links. These are held in place with a pin and collar system. And the 5-link bracelet, I'm sure, is very comfortable. I can't size it since it's on loan from Saltzman's. Do have a butterfly clasp here with dual pushers. And this does have a spring system in here, so I would say that gives you an extra 5 millimeters though of expansion, so it would come in very handy on hot days or whenever your wrist expands. And then over to the Sinn. We do have, well, tactical watch, so I guess it'll handle the beating. We do have solid end links, solid links. These are H links. And then this system's a bit different from most watches. It has a threaded shaft, and then you have screws that are threaded into the shaft, and you need to have 2 wrenches or screwdrivers to remove this. You can't remove one without having the other held in place, so a little bit tricky of a system there. This one does have a stamped clasp, which is a little bit disappointing for the price of the watch. I mean, $3,340, and it has a stamped clasp. Only has 3 micro adjusts, and that's because it does have a diver extension, which apparently still has tape on it. But I have no use for a diver extension. I'd rather have 2 more or even 3 more micro adjusts, but it is what it is. So, and the case and bracelet on this is also submarine steel. You can kind of see it on the back here. If you read German, Deutscher U50-T, Seewasser, whatever. I believe that means that it's resistant to salt water. Someone told me once, I forgot. And then U50 500 meter. So, very cool watch. I think it'll still be in my collection for a while. And also does have drill lugs. I have tried removing this bracelet a few times in recent times, and I haven't been able to remove it, so I'm just keeping it on the bracelet. I like it better on the bracelet anyway. Okay, on the Zodiac, dimensions, we're looking at 46.4 lug to lug, 39 millimeter bezel diameter. The case is not quite as wide, 12.7 thick, 20 millimeter lug width, tapering down very nicely to 16, 6.5 millimeter crown, and it weighs in at 129 grams with all of the links. So obviously when you size it for your wrist, it will weigh less than that 129 grams. Over to the Sinn, looking at 47.5 lug to lug, so a millimeter longer than the Zodiac. So this watch actually has a nice short lugs compared to the diameter. Looking at 41 millimeter diameter at the bezel. The case is not as wide as that. And now pay attention here, 11.2 thick. So it's very thin for the water resistance. 11.2 thick for 500 meter water resistance. And again, this one is 12.7 thick for 200 meter water resistance. Now if I had a flat crystal, it'd be a bit less thick, but again, the point is very thin for the water resistance. 20 millimeter lug width, tapering down to 18. Tapering down to 16, I would appreciate that more, but it looks a little more tactical, I guess, having the less taper. 6 millimeter crown. Crown might be a little bit undersized, but it is at the 4 o'clock position here. It doesn't really have crown guards, but the lug kind of acts as the crown guard there. And it's more comfortable on wrist at the 4 o'clock position. And this one weighs in at 143 grams, so a little bit heavier. But again, you have the submarine steel, and it's rated to 500 meter water resistant. So let's check out the Lume. Okay, Zodiac on the left, Sinn U50 on the right. Man, the hands on the Zodiac are brighter than the Sinn. The indices, I would say, are about the same. I would say, it's hard to say which one's better. Let's just say they're equal, equal amount of lume, but the hand side is brighter on the Zodiac, but less lume area. So I would say these are about equal. And then of course you can see the bezel is lumed on the Zodiac. Anyway, that will conclude this video. As always, thank you for your time and thank you for watching. The second hand just passed by on the Sinn, and you can see the second hand is lumed. And the second hand on the Zodiac is not lumed.